Hey, yo, y'all, what up? What up? What up? Back at it once again. Back at it once again. Yeah, as a side note, been switching back to the old microphone just because I don't know, like the wireless headset that I normally use for live streams, it just kind of holds back my baritone a little bit. I don't like that. So gonna get back to the old school stuff until I get my nice microphone here once and for all. So, yeah. Hey, what's good, Michael? Good to see you up in the building, fam. Good to see you up in the building once again. Tonight's topic is sort of like a double entendre because I'm not just here talking about Ponzi scheme. That's not really all that I'm talking about, but I do want to make references to it. So that's why I mentioned it in the first place. Like if you saw the hashtag Ponzi and you see the picture of the individual for the thumbnail, that is Charles Ponzi himself. He was an Italian American fraudulent business guy that convinced investors to purchase cheap postage coupons from overseas in large sums in order for, I guess, those investors to they could flip it to U.S. postage stamps. Because I guess back in the day, there was a time, during the 20s, due to the stock market crash and stuff. Well, there was no dollar bill at one point because of the stock market crash. So these postage stamps became the next best thing because you still had to send things. So the postage stamps alone became a currency. I guess the postage stamps were the first examples of cryptocurrency, if you want to look at it that way. What's good, Venom? Yes, indeed. Hit the like button, y'all, as y'all come in, especially those listening to this on the replay. Yeah, this is gonna be a good one. I hope y'all like this one. Uh, but let's keep going. Let's keep going. So I just gave y'all a simple rundown of Ponzi himself. So just overall, for those who probably paid attention to my initial posting of this live stream, uh, it had a different name. At first, it was titled "The Finesse Game is Real." Yeah, buddy, hit that damn like button, like Michael said. Yeah, but the original title of this live stream was called "The Finesse Game is Real." But since I know that there are some guys out here that talk about the finesse game, if you will, even some guys that I've come across, if you will, that, you know, yeah, I've come across some individuals. My thing is no disrespect to them about this whole finesse game that they talk about, because see, when you think about it, when you really think about it, the word finesse itself, if you look it up, don't just take my word for it, but if you look up the word finesse, it has more than one meaning. It can mean deception. So that's one definition of finesse. But then the other definition of finesse, it just simply means to be nimble. So that's what a lot of guys who talk about game, if you will, they say finesse for that reason. It's about being nimble when you're out here having game like they have. Now, mind you, yours truly don't talk about game. And I don't have game like that. I don't need game like that. You know what I'm saying? But those kind of guys, they talk about game and that's what they mean by finesse. But given the name of this live stream, let's go. We're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about the former, not the latter. So the former in regards to finesse is the deception. Yes, like Decepticon. Let's talk about it. Okay. So if we want to talk about schemers and being aware of schemers, we deal with people like this in our day-to-day lives on a regular basis. Even some of us don't realize that we be scheming. We often don't mean to because we live in a doggy dog world. A lot of times, let me give you all a good example of this. This is what I mean. One of the schemes that we deal with is the fact that we pay a utility bill. Another scheme is that we actually get a paycheck. But however, after taxes, you only get so much of the money that you actually earn. Where did everything else go? Now, some people would say, well, that's not a scheme. You owe taxes. But upon the fact that these taxes go back to a day where this country has a lot of bad history to it as to the way it was founded. So those taxes go all the way back to the inception of this country. Just think about it that way. So taxes itself in some ways is a scheme of its own, you know. So that's why you see a lot of rich folk, they just scheme right back. They just don't pay the taxes until they have to be levied with taxes in some other ways. And the other thing is, like, I saw a video that 50 Cent did not too long ago, and he said he had like a couple of 100 million in his banking account, but he said he had to spend most of that money. Why? Because if not, the IRS will take that money out of the bank. You're not supposed to have a lot of money in the bank. A lot of people talk about always saving money, saving money. However, now they like, look, you only supposed to have a certain amount of money in the bank, especially when you make a certain amount of money. You got to be putting that money in other things, other investments. The IRS really doesn't like you to have stagnant money in the account. Now, that's why some people join credit unions. But yeah, we don't want to get too deep into financial talks. I'm just kind of giving you all something to think about as we get more into this idea of being aware of schemers. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue to go from there. Let's do this. Let's go. Let me get a little sippy sip right quick of just some good old H2O. That hate 2O. You know, you got the haterade. Well, there you go. You got H2O. Let's talk about the hate 2O. Let me get a sip of that right quick, y'all. Yeah, there you go. So the haterade gets rid of the hate when you take a sip, and so does the hate 2O. Yeah, speaking of, a lot of schemers come from folk that could be haters, for all you know. People that are trying to scheme you and connive you and manipulate you in some ways. I'm just simply talking about it from a financial standpoint, but it does outline a lot of other things that I'm about to bring up. So, one way of you might hear about this phrase in regards to scheming, and hopefully I sound good for y'all. So, here we go. You probably heard of the phrase rob Peter to pay Paul. And I believe this is most of us, whether we realize it or not, including myself. And I say this unintentionally because we all got some kind of bill. We all have some type of debt that we owe. And what do we usually do in between paychecks or as we're trying to save some money, if you will, for other things, other expenses? Well, you try to borrow some money to go pay off some other bills. Now, you know, in the street world, they talk about this idea of re up, but we won't go there. But usually, in essence, a lot of folk want to find ways to rebound financially without having to borrow, if that makes sense. So if you can find a way to bounce back without borrowing money or borrowing a lot of money, that kind of makes you less of a schemer because you have other ways of bringing in income besides having to take money from somewhere else, and basically you don't even have the money to pay it back. But it doesn't help with the interest either. See, that's the other scheme, is the interest. Okay, so I'm supposed to pay you back a certain amount of money. but then you add on top of that extra money for me to pay back that I originally borrowed from you. That interest itself is a scheme as well. I want y'all to think about that. But these are just people's ways of trying to make money off of you one way or another. It's not enough for them to give you a loan of a certain amount and you give me back that same amount. They ultimately have this in mind of making money off the loan of a certain amount of money that you get from them in the first place. See, really, the fact that you took a loan is putting money in their pocket because the interest they add on that. But you might feel like you got finessed in that situation because you having to pay back more money than you actually got from them. Okay. But yeah, this rob Peter to pay Paul idea. Okay. Basically, if you looked it up, it just says to rob Peter to pay Paul, you borrow money from one person or institution to pay back money owed to another person or institution, if you will. And from what I've gathered, this phrase, at least, just as an example of this whole rob Peter to pay Paul, one example of it, or at least what you can consider is origins, it traces back to the year 1380 from John Wycliffe. Now, mind you, refugee, the dude from Fugees, right? Wycliffe John. I'm not saying those two names go together, but I'm just saying, hey, to rob Peter to pay Paul. Just want y'all to think about that. But yeah, it's from the John Wycliffe Select English Works back from the year 1380. And it was written as such. It said, Lord, how should God approve that thou rob Peter and give this robbery to Paul in the name of Christ? Okay, that's how it originally was quoted. So pretty much, I don't try to be too accurate with the wordage because, the plagiarism, I don't want to be accused of plagiarizing or nothing like that. So, but here we go. Another terminology for rob Peter to pay Paul was a French terminology. And with that one, it's to me, it's more straightforward. Of course, I'm not going to say it in French, but it says pretty much to unclothe St. Peter in order to clothe St. Paul. So that gives you an even more accurate idea of this idea of rob Peter to pay Paul type of scenario. Now, let's look at hindsight 2020 about this whole situation. Both phrases could be of Latin origin, and it could have a lot to do with Paul being crucified in order for Peter to be redeemed. As you read the New Testament of the Bible, for those who do read the Bible, that's what it's all about. And I say it this way because obviously society uses a term that has some biblical connection to it, even though this idea is not even in the Bible, like about rob Peter to pay Paul, but they just use that biblical scenario in order to develop that statement of rob Peter to pay Paul. Okay. Now, think about this though. If we want to still sort of remain biblical, if we're talking about this rob Peter to pay Paul phrase could be of Latin origin and has to do with Paul getting crucified in order for Peter to be redeemed, what does that say about Jesus being crucified in order for humanity to be redeemed? Is that still considered robbery? Not to digress, just food for thought. I just want y'all to think about that, especially those listening to this on the replay. If you got an answer to that, or whatever your opinion is, there's no right or wrong answer. Put that in the comment section. Your feedback is always appreciated from yours truly. Let's keep going though. In the social landscape in regards to robbing Peter to pay Paul, I believe it's the opposite. Given my inverted perspective, I believe it's about paying Paul to rob Peter. See what I'm saying? It's about the time aspect, not money in this case. But sometimes, it could be money that is the motive. You got things like the hitman for hire. You see? So what I mean by this is, let's say this. Uh you might owe somebody something, right? Or you just have a lot of things going on, but somebody you feel is hindering you in some way. So you give Paul a holler, kind of kill two birds with one stone. I pay you, you take care of my enemy, and it'd be a win-win situation for both of us. So that aspect, so that way, clean slate on both of our ends, even though our hands ain't clean of the situation. But I want y'all to think about that, because that's kind of what we see with schemers. Beware of schemers. Okay, that's just kind of one way of dealing with this. The win-win situation that people talk about. You got to be careful what they mean by win-win. Okay. Now, uh, robbing Peter to pay Paul also means to shift money or resources around without accomplishing any gain or benefit. Now, before I get to that, let me go back to this in regards to the paying Paul to rob Peter. Uh, Sometimes a lot of this can be to where, let's say, if you might once again have somebody that you don't like, or y'all don't get along or something like that. But yet you could take a person that's totally outside that situation between you and a person that you don't like. Or maybe that person that's outside the situation also doesn't like that other individual. Well, there's ways that you two can come together to try to, I guess, sabotage that other individual. And that way you don't feel like that other individual is holding you back in any way. Me, I look at it from the standpoint as another way of somebody trying to step over somebody to get to the top. You got to scheme, you got to deceive people, you got to try to find ways to take people out by any means necessary, even if it's a little dirty, even if you got to kind of go under the table. Uh, you got to lie to people and spread rumors about people and try to hook up with people that other person associate with and make them believe you, even though it's a scheme. But you trying to have people believe you in order to take out that other person you don't like. You see how deep this gets? The rabbit hole gets deep. Beware of schemers. Okay, I'm going somewhere with this. Hopefully you've already grabbed your popcorn, nachos, hot dogs, and soda. I shouldn't have to say that by now for those that have been at this channel for a long time, but for the newcomers, there you go. I don't know if this is going to be a doozy, but hey, we're going to see what the numbers do, like I like to say. All right. But yeah, kind of moving forward, not to kind of flip flop with my talking points here. Going back to kind of what I just said, in the social landscape, like I said, with my inverted perspective about paying Paul to rob Peter, it's about the time and not money in this case. And I explained to y'all what that was about just now. And I even just told y'all about how it can be dealt with if money was involved. Like, people want to take out people due to somebody wanting to get their life insurance. You see a lot of marriages end like this. You might have a chick that want to get a dude, get somebody's money, so she'll find a way to get to hit that guy up. A lot of times, in this space here, people call divorce rape another scheme, right? And so a lot of guys look at what marriage as a scheme. See, I told y'all I was going I told y'all I was going somewhere with this. Okay. Just want y'all to think about some stuff like that. Some guys consider even dating a scheme. Okay. Guys want to, guys gonna be guys. You're gonna want to have sex with her, right? She ain't trying to do that, but she'll find a way to scheme you to make you think she gonna do that with you. Give you all these promises. Now, the pyramid scheme. We could talk about sort of how that goes, because maybe to you, you put all your time in for her, and she's leading you on to think that y'all gonna do something. But all the time in the money, in the food that you put into her, she's really gonna take that elsewhere and give that to someone that's above her. See, we can go there. We can really go there, but I'm gonna be lightweight with that aspect of beware of schemers. Okay. Now, but yeah, robbing Peter to pay Paul also means to shift money or resources around without accomplishing any gain or benefit. And the way this socially can work is you have a lot to do with how one has misled you. You know, basically they misled you, had you shift around in a lot of different ways with the way they want to be around you, the way they like you, or the way they want you to work with them if y'all got a business going on. And they leading you on to all these different things, all these promises, all these dreams that never come true. Okay. So all this really means is that they probably putting you on the sideline because they probably having you fulfill certain tasks that another person they know isn't willing to do or probably can't do until you clear up some other things with them. You know what I'm saying? It could be something as simple as how can I put it? You know, certain voids to fill. We have emotional voids. You can have a person um that, let's say, let's just kind of talk blue pill for a little bit, right? So you might, I guess, be hurting from a previous relationship, right? So you'll have another person be like, well, you're not ready to talk to me yet. You got to get over that other person. So what do? You leave this other person that you've been dealing with. You find a way to either you get with that other person you've been trying to get over, and you find ways to kind of deal with them for one last hurrah, one last swan song, but you're using them to actually get over them. Or you can just run into a stranger and act like you like them, but you really don't like them, but you're using them as a means to an end to kind of get over your ex in order to be with this other new person that's not going to talk to you until they're not going to talk to you until they feel that you've gotten over all these other previous people. Like I said, the rabbit hole gets deep. Beware of schemers. Okay. But but yeah, at best, it's all about one's persuasion method because that's all it is. You know, they misled you, and yet they still expect you to believe in them or believe them. Persuasion methods they're using. That's all it is. Persuasion methods, occasion methods. You know, they have these occasions where they use persuasion. It could be a special occasion. Ladies, for the ladies listening to this live stream, a guy can use occasions, special occasions for persuasions. Find ways for you to come out that pocketbook. But he hasn't shown you how you can be more reciprocal to him. He's just only seeing you as a resource instead of something that's reciprocating. Okay. So we can go there with that, with how a lot of things can be misled in a lot of different ways. Yeah, this is one of those type of live streams where I'm trying my best to unpack it the best way that I can, but I believe that it has such multiple corridors and parameters. I might just only be able to go down one corridor for now, but I'm doing the best that I can. We are 24 minutes in, and I believe this live stream is way of it. I believe it's way ahead of its time in many ways, and I humbly say that because I believe that most people don't pay attention um, to what could be perceived as a scheme. It is even written, be sober, be vigilant, for the devil walketh about as a lion, seeking whom he may devour. One of those ways of devouring, yeah, one of those ways he can devour, if you will, is through scheming. Okay. But you got to be sober. You got to be vigilant. Okay. You can't be lost in the sauce out here. That's one way that you can get got. And that means even from the standpoint of being vulnerable. We all got things we're dealing with. I'm no different, but I have to remain sober and vigilant despite what I've been through in order to avoid being schemed on. I'm the type that likes to be motivated, not manipulated. And you all, ladies and gentlemen, I would hope think similar in that regard. Okay. Now, here's this. With all this said, everything about the phrase robbing Peter to pay Paul has everything to do with robbing and taking, but they still use this terminology today in regards to borrowing. So it's just funny how they, I won't say they've taken terminologies out of context. They've taken a lot of terminologies and made it into a different type of a context. It's just interesting. You got to watch for that, y'all. Yeah, you got to watch for all the different changes in the context of a lot of different terminologies. What you think is right today is left tomorrow. What you think is pink today is orange or brown tomorrow. That's basically in a nutshell what a lot of this scheming is about too. You know, even just the fact that robbing Peter to pay Paul is now a different terminology. That should say something about even that as well. Like that to me sounds like a scheme. Because it's like you trying to make it seem like I'm doing one thing, even though I was really doing something else altogether. You know, people basically will make you out to be someone that you're not. But ironically, you're also dealing with someone that is not who you thought they were. Just crazy how the world works. Even this idea of the nice guy. Unfortunately, the stigmas behind it are due to the schemers that try to come off as being nice, but they never were. See what I'm saying? So it's hard to really know what's really honest out here and what's not. And that's why I know at this channel overall, and we're going to get to this channel, just keep in mind the word channel. But over here at this channel, I try to always be uplifting. I always try to have a morally high character, even when I'm dealing with things and people that are way out of my character. I try to maintain the same individual. Just overall, it's like you have to recognize a similar voice for you to know it's still that person. You see what I'm saying? You have to recognize that voice, and that's what I try my best to be here at this channel. Okay, and this is despite the fact that I'm growing, I'm evolving, I'm only getting better with time. So stick around. Okay. All right, but yeah, one may think they're investing or contributing to an individual, but all they're really doing is filling in their gaps in their voice. Have y'all ever noticed that every time you get around a person, they seem to always be empty? Like you just feel like this vibe that they're empty. No matter how much you be around them, you invest, you show them love, or you be there for them, they still feel empty. For all you know, that's a scheme. You know, I feel that if you're truly depressed, you're going to appreciate those that support you in the best way possible to help you get out of your depressions and things like that. But or if you're in a hole, if you will, or if you're in a rut, and who knows, that might take years, and someone might be actually helping you out financially, but they should at least see that as an individual, you're moving forward, or morally, you're becoming more upright. You know what I'm saying? They still see that you're being a positive individual. That makes people know that you're still worth the investment and you're not scheming people. You're not out here trying to be one way, but you're contrary to that. You know, you got all kind of issues going on that we don't know about, you know. So, and I don't say that in a bad way either. I'm not trying to come off as judgmental, you know, but it happens. Got a new one up in the building. Hopefully I said your name right, fam. Your name is Tixzy. Hopefully I said your name right. But you said they tried to mimic no reciprocation. Yeah, that's facts. I agree. I believe you're speaking of the feminine gender, but yeah, this can apply to just people in general, you know. But yeah, especially with the feminine gender, they mimic, they try to mimic. Especially if, let's say, you know, you got a lot of dudes or a lot of chicks now, you know, they talk about getting in the bag, or they want to be around a dude that shows them how to, you know, that they be like, I gotta be around a man that could put me on, you know, that could help me be like a boss chick, you know. So he gotta teach me, he gotta show me some things in order for me to really know how to get this bag. But all along, you just really showing her how to get that bag without you. She's just becoming more independent. No, sweetie, I'm not showing you how to get the bag. I'm showing you how to put more in my bag, you dig? That's how that should be, y'all. What's good, cool gent? Good to see you again. Yeah, good to see you again, fam. Yeah, we definitely me and Cool Gent giving the date of this live stream. We got something great coming up. You know, we've been talking about a lot of things, and so I might save it for the live stream that we will be doing. But let's just put it this way: uh, we definitely trying to shift the masculine paradigm out here. That's what we're trying to do. You know, we just got to come from a different angle. We're not necessarily saying we forming a group. You know, we trying to develop a new bracket of content, but I just think that you either got one set of way of doing things where you go about being a certain way that's like a schemer, or you're just sitting back as like a dreamer, dreaming about what you're gonna do, but you don't do it, or you sit back like a fiender, like a simp, if you will. You just constantly fiending for the validation. And we don't want to do that either. You know, we trying to be separate from all this stuff, but yeah, good to see you up in the building once again, cool gent. Tixie said, yes, sir. They think being a man is being gangster when they mimic us. Facts, facts. I agree. There's nothing like that, and they don't even know really like uh gangster, like, you know, the real gangsters come from the 20s, like Al Capone type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Some Valentine's Day massacre kind of stuff. That's real gangster. What we see now is just gang bangers. And I've talked about this before. This is a side note, but yeah, given Charles Ponzai, you see the way he looks, right? You know, he had on the clothing. He appeared to be like a gentleman, but he was really a hooligan. You see what I'm saying? But that's another story. But yeah, all this gangsters, like the real gangsters, were real gentlemen back in the day. But you had those who were the opposite of that. They were hooligans. And some of them still try to look like those gangster gentlemen. But nowadays, hooligans, uh, they're more so gang bangers than gangsters. But we ain't gonna get too much into the street talk too much. But yeah, for sure. Like all this plays in, because why? Ain't it so true that the white collar world, the first world for the most part, the corporate world, is more cutthroat than a lot of what goes on in the streets? Why do you think they accepted Jay-Z so well? Why do you think they accepted 50 Cent so well? And that's nothing against Jay-Z and 50 Cent. I'm just saying, you know, they just had a different kind of a white collar. You know, you see the cutthroat corporate world that tries to mimic the look of the old gangsters, but they're more cutthroat. These are the same people that prohibited Al Capone from selling liquor back in the day. You know, man, we could really go deep with this, but see, the corporate world, they have their white collar. On the streets, you what? Wore the white tee. Yup, in my white tee. 50 Cent, Jay-Z, both had on the white tees and the white tank tops versus the corporate guys with the white collar. But they had the same mentality, the way to kind of scheme and kind of get through all this, man. And no one's, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not really pointing a finger, but I want y'all to see kind of like how this ties in with the fact that you overall got to beware of schemers. I'm like, hey, the way you hustle, that's the way you hustle. I'm not knocking your hustle. Just don't knock me with your hustle. You feel me? That's all I'm saying. You know? And that was actually part of the code of conduct. Like, even with the old gangsters, like, they were like, yo, what we do, It's what we do. We separate that from the other people that ain't involved in the circle, in this wicked life that we live. You know, what we do unto each other is what we do unto each other. We keep the civilians or the other people out of it. We keep the squares out of it. Ooh, did I just kind of shift a little bit from gangster talk to player talk a little bit? Did I just shift a little bit, y'all? Keeping the squares out of the circle. But there's schemers in that. We're going to talk about that. We're 35 minutes in, okay? We can go so many directions with it. Hey, Tixie got the top hat. That's what's up. Yeah, appreciate that, fam. Yeah, gotta wear the top hats. Gotta wear the top hats. For those that into the know, you want a top hat. If you got a top hat, y'all, put that in the chat like Tixie just did. You feel me? Yes, sir. Let's go. Appreciate you stopping by, Tixie. Appreciate you. Okay, let's keep going though. Let me see. Where I'm just kind of trying to get off sort of to where I was at before I get too much off track for y'all. Because like I said, we can go so many different ways with this. It's crazy. But like I said, you know, have y'all ever been around somebody and you feel like they were empty? Like they just always needed more, needed more, needed more. They always, you feel like they need a handout, but they just have a handout to take from you. You know, there's nothing wrong with someone having a handout, someone that actually needs from you and they appreciate what you give them. But there's another person that has the handout and they just trying to take from you. But you never know when they're going to have their handout to take from you. That's the person you got to watch out for. I prefer the person that has the handout versus the person you don't know when they're going to have their handout to take from you. But they're always around you. You're always thinking they're supporting you, but they're really kind of plotting and planning. That's what they're doing. Okay. That's what they're doing. So, but and you could tell that they're always empty inside because really what it is you feel this vibe like something ain't right about them. Like really what it is you see that what they got going on individually, it's like their whole world is always falling apart around them. There's always some type of drama associated with them. So eventually that could come your way. You feel me? And then when it's all said and done, you like, dang, I just got schemed. I just got finessed by them. Little did I know. Now it reminds me of this show that I saw, and it was about a dude in Miami. He had like real nice cars. He had like Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and you thought like, yo, this homeboy is really doing it, man. Like, cause in Miami, you got to be really on that fly. You feel me? Like in Miami, everybody got a nice car, and you got to get with chicks that got waist, they got lace downs that can what I think what the young blood is saying now. Quavo now talking about how they got to scrub the ground. Yeah, they got to have those long yaki weaves, lace fronts. And yes, I'm talking about non-black chicks too, because even non-black chicks wear extensions too, down to the ground to scrub the ground, you know. But you got to have that money to get around a chick with a long lace front, a colorful one too, down in Miami. You got to have that money. So this dude was like that, had a Ferraris, had a Lamborghinis, and they were like, "Yo, how did you do it, dog?" And he like, "Man, you know what? These are not only my cars, but I also lease, right?" And there was this big old TV show about it. I wish I had a link to it. I would show y'all. But basically in Miami, everybody trying to keep up with the Joneses. But what they found out is that this dude never had a car business. He was just only taking, you know how like at some car dealerships, because I've been around a lot of car dealerships, you could take cars out for a drive, but they have to be like ones that are you just kind of breaking them in as they come off the trailer of the semi. You know, you get these nice cars shipped in. You got to break them in slightly before the owner gets it. And the owner understands that there's a binding agreement in a contract that the owner signs. Because you get the manufacturer, they do their own shakedown and breakdown testing. But then they get to the dealership, they got to put that Ferrari through a few blocks just to make sure everything's running right from the factory. So that's what this dude basically did. But he just, every time he would go downtown Miami with this Lamborghini he was driving before the owner got it, he'd make it seem like it was his and he had a legit car dealership. But everybody found out he didn't. And it was all a big finesse game that he was running on everybody. And he got away with it for so long. And then they found out, like, because he was trying to get with all these rappers and stuff. Well, that's only doing it for clout basis. Because, you know, actually, when you're down in those parts, especially in Miami, Everybody trying to mingle. Everybody trying to know somebody. You feel me? So you just got to be about a certain lingo. Even if they don't see what you're about yet, you got to already have a certain lingo to even get a conversation out of somebody down in those parts. You feel me? So this dude knew how to finesse his way through a lot of clubs. But yeah, everybody caught on to the fact that this dude was not about what he said he was. Beware of schemers. Venom, you said the schemers are narcissistic people who have no regard for being genuine or reciprocal. That's facts. That's facts. And you said Tixia, CCFBN. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. And then let's go in even more on what I want to say more, y'all. So check this out. As I said, you've been around folk, they always feel like they empty. Can this also tie in with modern day relationships? Should I go in on that about how this ties in? Because Venom just said it sort of in a lot of different ways. He just outlined a lot of that question I just gave y'all. Could this also tie in with modern day relationships? Once again, Venom said the schemers are narcissistic people who have no regard for being genuine or reciprocal. No, it's about get it how you live it. You got to live your best life, even if it means at the expense of the other person, literally at the expense. At the expense. You schemed for that expense from the other person in order for you to live your best life. Think about all the chicks. Yeah, we're going to get back to that. You got a chick talking about she got 100,000 on her, right? That's because she tricked most dudes out of dates and she never did anything with them after the date. But they spent all this money on her and she was just able to save all that to a checking account. She ain't made no money. She just found ways to finesse money. So that's all this money is. She ain't made no money. You know, she just found the way to finesse money. That's all that is. That's the only reason why she ended up getting that $100,000 on her. And that's all she going to have too. You know, she just trying to hold on to it. She don't know how to invest it because it came from, I believe, the wrong hands. And it came from the hands the wrong way, in my opinion. You know, I believe that karma has a certain way to where, you take, they talking about having a money loan, right? Well, you can't take loan money and expect that to go long. That only goes so long, and that only goes on for so long, if you know what I'm saying. Uh, but yeah, I had some other things I want to talk about. So I basically, in a nutshell, I kind of gave y'all a little bit of a lot of different talking points about just scheming in general. And like the main example I just brought up overall for the majority of this live stream, but we got more things to talk about, was about robbing Peter to pay Paul. But let's talk about really the pyramid scheme, because I kind of alluded to that earlier, kind of like when they talk about also out here with the dating world, if you will, how you know you put food in her belly, but it's all because another guy is going to put pipe in her belly. That's part of a pyramid scheme. You want to know how? Because she doesn't see you at the top. You tricking off. She don't see you at the top. You're not piping her after you feed her. Somebody else is, right? Okay. So you at the bottom investing like you would in a certain life insurance company. You put money in. She kind of, I guess, try to recruit you. She had many different recruits. Okay. And it's truly, actually, this is like a hybrid scheme. Actually, let's save this idea of a hybrid scheme that I believe goes on in dating for the last talking point here. But let's talk more about what a pyramid scheme is, because this goes on in real life, socially, not just financially with corporations. But yeah, basically a pyramid scheme is one makes money by recruiting more people in, and those people are at the bottom. Obviously, start from the bottom, work your way up. Like just think about that statement, and you hear this at the job. They call it a hierarchy. They call it a chain of command. They call it the corporate ladder. But could it also be a pyramid scheme? Start from the bottom to work your way up. Okay, so that means one day I could be the CEO of this company, right? You would think, right? Nope. We know that ain't true. You're not going to end up one of the top billionaires of the company. You're not going to end up a founder of the company. Now, you have companies that claim that they are employee owned. That's for another conversation. I don't have a lot of gist about that. I'll have to kind of look more into that more. You feel me? But yeah, man, you go for a typical job, man. You at the bottom. You're supposed to work your way up. You know, they what recruit more employees for that job, and you know, you pretty much stay at the same position. What you fighting for raise, or you get into another scheme situation with what union where you what pay your dues, but most of the time you get nothing out of that situation, especially if something happens. Rarely will you get into a union where you're going to get your just due. Yeah, rarely will you get into a union where you're going to get your just due based on the dues that you paid, based on you paying your dues. You ain't gonna get your just due even though you paid your dues. You see what I'm saying? A lot of these schemes out here, man. A lot of these schemes. Let's keep going. And you can apply that with relationships. So sorry for guys that have been tricked out of their bag. You didn't get your just due, even though you paid your dues. You just paid for another dude. Sorry, dude. Sorry, man. Yo, but we all can, you know, we all got stories like this, man. I'm just putting it out there. You know, we get schemed in a lot of different ways, man. You gotta watch for schemers, man. You gotta watch for schemers. Let's keep going. Hey, the church. We can talk about the church. Why not? Can I get a hallelujah? Amen. You get the collection plate. Then you're gonna get a blessing from the Lord. Hallelujah. In the receptacle, you put your $5, the last one that you had. You put that in the plate, and they say you're gonna get a blessing. You're gonna get a great blessing from the Lord. Hallelujah. And your light still get cut off when you leave the church. You still gonna get your car repossessed, right? Last time I checked, I went to a church like that. I gave them my money, and they give you like this tax write-off thing you're supposed to give, like when you file your taxes. I think that was what happened last time I went to a church like that. But I'm like, what happened to really y'all looking out for us? Like, do y'all put this money somewhere where if we're in a time of need, y'all can look out for us or at least help us to be more financially stable as a whole, as a collective, so that we all don't seem like we are constantly without money? Like, where is this type of thing going on in churches? You don't see it. You don't. You don't see no potlucks and potlatches like the way a lot of people did back in the days when they had barter systems amongst the tribes where they made sure you're not without. What happens when you go to a lot of cultural families, right? Like I've been around like a lot of very cultural families where they have these big dinners. See, these families, they're the opposite of the US or Western families. They ain't the type that's gonna trip if you don't bring food. I mean, first of all, you got invited. It wasn't your job, your obligation, or your responsibility to bring food. Now, if they asked you, that's different. Okay, I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do. I got you, right? And then they'll pay it forward to you in some ways. But oftentimes, like with these more cultural families, they don't trip off the fact that you didn't bring food. No, they don't trip off the fact that you didn't bring food. What happens? They trip off if you don't take food home with you. Totally different. Totally different. Our ways of thinking is backwards. That's because everybody here is about take, 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 or at least most of the folks in the Western societies are about take, 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 not give, give, give. And that's where all the scheming comes from. It's crazy because in the scripture it says, give and it shall be given unto you. So you give the pastor something. What are you getting back? We know y'all not getting back anything. We know we don't get back anything, hardly anything, you know. But we got this big old mega church we go to. That's where the money's going. It's going towards making that church bigger than most stadiums in a lot of these cities, or they buy out an old stadium and convert it into a mega church. And I'm not really shooting a shot at these churches, but it's just an example of what does go on. Okay, it does go on. Y'all, you know, hey, don't take my word for it. It goes on. Look it up. Okay. But yeah, Yeah, excuse me. Uh, the pyramid scheme basically like it's about like recruiting more people in, and a lot of people that are in with that individual that recruited them barely get back what they put in. Kind of like that church, kind of like some of these relationships. You know what I'm saying? And I talked about how some unions are like that. And that's why I avoid most unions at a lot of these jobs and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But overall, in regards to the pyramid scheme, a person vaguely gives you an idea of what they're about. They don't even let you know that you're at the bottom of the whole situation. You know, they don't even let you know that. Now, this can switch to another topic in regards to relationships. Why you got some chicks out there who don't like to deal with a guy that has more than one woman because she might feel like you have her at the bottom. And it's like, no, a guy that really knows what he's doing, he doesn't have that chick at the bottom. Ironically, she might be the type of chick that's always having a lot of guys around and she puts these guys at the bottom, but they call that friend zoning. He's just my friend. But you got this other guy that you like to do other stuff with, but you got this other guy that's just your friend, right? But then you want to get mad at the other guy because he knows more than one woman, but he doesn't put any of them at the bottom. Y'all see the scheme behind that, man? We can go there, man. We can go there, but we just kind of lightly talking about things. Like I said, this topic goes in so many different directions. But yeah, shifting away from the pyramid scheme, let's go over to the Ponzi scheme, given some of this live stream namesake and the individual that's on the thumbnail. You know, this live stream kind of is based on that theme too. You know, Charles Ponzi. The Ponzi scheme is unlike the pyramid scheme. You know, the pyramid scheme basically is just, you know, people from the bottom given to the people at the top and they don't get anything out of it. And the person from the top is not trying to bring them to the top. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is also something that is a big feud that's going on between Nelly and the St. Lunatics right now. So I'm from St. Louis, so I could talk about it. You know, Ali, he don't like Nelly right now because, you know, a lot of them feel like Nelly, he got where he got and he didn't bring them really to where he was. You know, when it's all said and done, they even feel like, oh, Nelly, he got to the top, but look at him, he fell from the top now. Look at him. See, he could have had us with him, and we could have been really bigger than what we are now. And Nelly could have been even bigger than what he is now. See what I'm saying? And they talk about Kevin Samuels too, and this is not even to throw shots at Kevin Samuels, but some people think Kevin Samuels practices a pyramid scheme because he didn't bring the manosphere up there with him. What do y'all think about that? That's a side note for those watching this on the replay. Even those in the chat, you don't have to comment, but that is some food for thought. You know, y'all think Kevin Samuels a schemer? I don't think he is, but you know, yeah. It just makes y'all think about a lot of different things. But yeah, with the Ponzi scheme, you know, it's a little different than the pyramid scheme where, you know, the people from the bottom never get to the top. You know what I'm saying? The Ponzi scheme is where one funnels in the money and, you know what I'm saying? What happens is you fund in the money versus the money going to the top and you never get that back. In this case, you fund in the money as like, you know, let's say you got to pay a fee to get in and you get in, but what happens is that fee is just paying another person. It's not really that it's a fee. It's a fee to pay the other person. It's really to pay the other person. That's kind of how that is. So the way that can go, if we look at the Ponzi scheme from that standpoint, is let's say this, like what you put in um, for an individual, like of any type of organization, like money wise, like you pay this fee to get in, and it's supposed to you're supposed to get some benefit out of that. And guess what? You get something from that, right? you do get something back in this case. You feel like you're on top. But no, it's not about you being on top. You're just basically getting back what you put in, but you're getting it back from another person that put in. It becomes kind of a triad of sorts versus a pyramid where all this money that's coming in, it just kind of and then guess what? We got a troll in the building. So hey, to the mods, y'all know what to do. Y'all can get this person off of her, or I can do it if the mods ain't here, because I don't really expect my mods to be in the building. But I know they come through. But yeah, we got this troll here. We're gonna highlight him. And I kind of got an idea who this person can be. Not that I'm being paranoid, but you know, I've only really had one troll lately. Okay. But they just keep showing up. Why are you here? If you don't like somebody, why are you here? That's a scheme in itself. Okay. That's a scheme that actually lives up to the name. But yeah, y'all, to the mods, yeah, if y'all in the building, go ahead and deal with this person, Willie, Wiley, or whoever this person is. I know this is a troll account for sure. Okay. Speaking of schemers, see, it's when you're talking about certain topics that are outside the norm, they seem boring to certain people that have more normal things to talk about. You see what I'm saying? See, the real intellectual mind knows how to take in a lot of different information. And nothing is truly boring to that person because why? First of all, you have an interest in whatever that person is talking about. Second of all, it has a unique dynamic of its own, whatever that person is talking about. Okay. Hey, Brown Dude, I see you in the building, fam. Hey, I don't know if you noticed, but yeah, not I don't know who all's in here as my mods, but above this person, Willie Riley, go ahead and take that person out, Brown Dude Life, if he's still in the building. Otherwise, he probably already got taken care of by a moderator already, but just in case, go ahead and take care of Willie. Just get rid of him. Don't even try to put him on timeout or nothing like that, Brown Dude. But yeah, good to see you up in the building, family. Yeah, you definitely gonna have to check this out on the replay. We are 57 minutes in. I got a few more talking points. I'll probably slightly go over an hour tonight just to kind of get everything out the way so that this can be well worth it for those who do like to check out my live streams, as a lot of people actually do. I'm very surprised by it and I'm very humbled by it, okay? But yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell in regards to the Ponzi scheme. Yeah, time him out and then yeah, time him out and then actually if you can remove him, just do that, Brown Dude. Yeah, go ahead and remove him. Don't even put him on timeout. Just get rid of him. If you're able to do that. I don't know if you had the capabilities, but yeah, I think you could get rid of him. Yeah, we know who this person is. We know. No, it's just crazy. You got trollers, scheming type of persons. It's like, why are you here? I don't get it. It's like if you don't like somebody, why are you around them? Because you know, you secretly do still, you know, have a certain kinsmanship or you just have certain things about there's something about that person that you do like. But you just, I guess to you, hate has to be the translation. It's crazy, man. But I just don't get it. If you don't like somebody, why are you around and why you come to their channel? You know? But that's for anybody. Like, not just like someone that I might believe is a troll, but just people in general that come to like your platform for the first time and they don't like what you have to say. It's like, why are you there? You know, but people be scheming, you know what I'm saying, all the time. You know, they trying to find ways to get in and whatever they try to do. But yeah, getting back to oh yeah, it doesn't say remove user on my laptop. That's cool. Just keep that person in mind. You put them in timeout. So yeah, just kind of watch them because I can actually, you know what? I got you, Browdy Life. You ain't got to worry about it. I can just block them. Oh, never mind. Let me wrong one. Let me see something. Yeah, I gotta refresh this here. Let me see this here. Yeah, I got the wrong thing. So I think I might have actually accidentally yeah, with my technology here. I'm gonna keep going in Brown Do Life. I think I probably accidentally uh got you instead of this person, you know, that I was trying to block. But let me see something here. See, but yeah, that was a distraction right there, but that's okay. We'll keep going. I don't know, I might have accidentally did something here. And I apologize, Brown Do Life. I was trying to take care of this individual, but that's okay. We'll keep going. I don't know if you can still hear me, Brown Do Life, but I'll try to take care of all this to the best of my ability. But yeah, but like I was saying, like to keep moving towards what I want to like finalize with a lot of different things. Um, let me see this here. Kind of get back to like some of the other things that I was wanting to mention. Yeah, you just got to think like with the Ponzi scheme. Um, a lot of people just will try to continue to circulate a lot of what you've put in towards an individual, but yet it's just a revolving door. A lot of people are revolving doors like that. But yeah, this is why a lot of people are reluctant to give people money for their content in their Patreon. Basically, most people don't see a return in their investment from an individual. What made me say all this? Uh, and then while y'all thinking about that, give me a second. I'm gonna try to refresh to see if I can kind of unblock. I don't know how it ended up blocking Brown Dude Life, but let me try to refresh. Give me a second, y'all. Give me a second. All right, I'm back. I'm back. Hey, Brown Dude, put me in the put a one in the chat if you back in the building. I think you off of I think I don't know why I had you as blocked, but I think now I got you back in the building. Put a one in the chat if you back in the building, Brown Dude Life. I just want to make sure I got you back. I don't know why I did that. Because I was trying to basically block the other person, which I think I did. But yeah, just put a one in the building, Brown Do Life, if you are still in the building. But let me keep going here with this. But yeah, a lot of people are reluctant to give to places like Patreon or even to one super chat for those that have larger channels because they already see that a lot of folks are schemers out here with a lot of their content. You know, that's my bombshell. You know, if we want to really talk about it, like a majority of content creators out here are schemers, in my opinion. So, like, I would say, like, that's really like what I think is going on in this space, or just in a lot of social media spaces. What you get is really in the gist of what I'm trying to say is it's hard to really know if you're hearing the truth from people because if you start to know that person personally, you'll see that a lot of them don't live up to what they say and who they are. Let me see this here. Uh, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool, cool. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm on my other device now, trying to make sure I can get Brown Do Life back in. I don't know why. Let me see this. Okay, I think Brown Do Life is back. I think Brown Do Life is back in. I think you back in Brown Do Life. I don't know why it. I don't know why I did that. And then Venom said, "Ignore the clown and we own it." I appreciate that, Venom. But yeah, if you back in the building, Brown Life, just try to say something. Hopefully, I got you back in. This technology is something else, man. But we gonna continue to move and groove out here. Hopefully, everything can be taken care of here. Just as we continue to progress with this live stream and even going forward after that. So, but that's the other thing, man. You got a lot of folk who uh kind of goes back to what Venom said earlier. Like schemers are narcissistic people. They have no regard of being genuine or reciprocal. You know what I'm saying? So in essence, they'll try to just be a distraction in many ways. They try to you try to put out some information that's real important, and they'll try to find ways to try to interrupt that. I won't even call it like an interception or nothing. It's just an interruption, but you just keep moving forward, man. You just keep moving forward. So I believe this live stream definitely will hit home with a lot of people, just even given what has taken place in this live stream. But yeah, okay, cool. Brown Do Life is back in the building. See, that's how we do it. That's how we do it. I apologize, Brown Do Life, but yeah, man, this technology glitch, man. Yeah, y'all just keep doing y'all thing. I appreciate that. Uh, yeah, yeah, I'll keep doing my thing. Venom's, he just, yeah, I'm gonna continue to chop it up with y'all. Ignore the clowns and especially the clown that was just in the building, basically. But yeah, Brown Do Life said yes. 98% of the manosphere content creators are schemers, fake alphas teaching lost boys and men how to be something they're not, just for the pussycat, and say don't put the pussycat on the pedestal. See, that's another scheme right there. See, exactly. That's why it's like, yeah, Brown Do Life knows what's good, man. He knows what's good. You know what I'm saying? So that's sort of how this is all going, man. And that's like I said earlier about uh shifting the masculine paradigm. I was going to do a live stream about it initially, and I've been wanting to do it for quite some time. But I got a funny feeling like, I've already had a schemer try to copy me. He's probably tried to do something similar to that. And y'all probably know who I'm talking about. I won't say names, but those who are in the know who I'm talking about. But yeah, but I can sort of touch on it here and there as we talk. But yeah, the way that we see these guys scheming, that's sort of the reason why I believe the masculine paradigm has shifted. But to actually shift it, to reshift it in a proper perspective, you got to get rid of the schemers. You got to get rid of these schemers because that's what we see going on out here. They have their pyramid schemes and their Ponzi schemes. Okay. Now, getting back to sort of this dating aspect of schemers, with what I said was a hybrid aspect of scheming. I said I was going to touch upon that. Now, like I said, the way she does with the Ponzi scheme aspect of it is, you think you putting out for her, whether money or time, especially with time, but it's just buying her time in order to be with the other guy. She took your time, your form of currency, to buy her time to be with the other guy because the other guy had other things to do and he wasn't going to be ready yet. But in the meantime, she got this other guy who put in his time. He fed her so she don't have to worry about pressing the other guy that she really wants to be with about food because she'll already be full. You see what I'm saying? But also, this guy gave her some money. So guess what she's going to do? Use that money on the other guy. See, that is the Ponzi scheme of it. Now, the pyramid scheme of it is how he put his time and his money in, but she sees him at the bottom. She ain't going to put that time back into the situation. She's not going to reciprocate that. She'd rather take that elsewhere with the other guy that she's more interested in. The hybridized scheming of Ponzi and pyramid scheme that most chicks use in modern day dating. There, I just gave you a good lesson on that for those who didn't know. For those that already know, you just already know for sure. But continuing on with what I was going to say, Now, I'd look at it this way. I look at it this way in many ways. Everybody wants to sell you a dream. They want to sell you something, especially out here in these spaces with most of these content creators. The game is to be sold, not to be told. Yet everybody is telling and everybody is selling. It's funny how that goes, right? That's why I just stay away from all the game talks. And I'm not shooting shots at those that talk about game. I'm just saying for the majority, this is how it goes. If the game is to be sold, not to be told, and a lot of people are telling as well as selling, what does that tell y'all? You want to know if this stuff works for you. You want to know if this person is making it work. You want to know if they're even practicing what they preach. You want to know. And a lot of times people are getting exposed. They getting exposed on a regular basis for all this stuff they selling and telling. And it sounds so compelling. But you're like, nah, I don't need you telling that to me. Like I'm not feeling it. Like you see that it's not adding up. What they're saying and what they're selling isn't adding up. That scheme of it. Now they probably see you as a pyramid scheme. Okay. Especially if they got all these labels of alpha, beta, you name it. Maybe they see you as a beta male trying to work on being a what? Alpha male. That's a pyramid scheme right there. Because what if you have to pay on courses in order to actually learn how to be an alpha male? Let's say you don't have to pay on these courses, but you have to listen to them. Learn about what it means to be an alpha male. Learn more about it. Grow more into it. But you never truly achieve this alpha male status. You're still going to struggle with women and money and notoriety, critical acclaim, street credibility, swag. You see what I'm saying? All the stuff that allegedly this guy who's at the top has been able to accomplish. And he's the poster child or poster guy of what that's all about. And this is the same thing they do with dating. You know what I'm saying? They do that with dating too. This guy has mastered it all. And he sells you on this hope, or he tells you all this stuff that he's done. See, I didn't come to this YouTube space to give y'all hope. And I talk about the white pill. And that's the thing, just to kind of further let people kind of get an idea of what this channel is all about in its new name of Rayology XM. This is definitely a white pill channel, okay? I'm not necessarily part of the white pill space because they are a little different than I, kind of like how y'all see with red pill and MGTOW, but I want y'all to know that I've definitely been like on the white pill kick and I'm gonna stay that way. So if y'all want to know what kind of channel this really is, y'all can say, hey, Ray has more of a white pill channel. He ain't on that red pill, that blue pill, that black pill stuff. He's more so white pill. But yeah, it's not that I'm even trying to sell y'all hope. I'm not trying to do none of that. I'm not even trying to give y'all hope. I'm more or less just showing y'all what hope has done for me. And y'all can share y'all testimonies. Y'all can say, you know what, I can relate to that. Okay. Like one of the reasons why I'm even out here in this YouTube spaces for a testimony that I have to share with y'all and many others that wanted me to do that. And I continue to do that because a lot of y'all want me to continue to do that. A lot of people have been inspired, you know, but it's not like I say, hey, here, you can do it because I did it. No, I just want you to see that I did it. And in your own life, you have things you're trying to do, and you can let some of the things that I've done kind of resonate with you. And I ain't selling you nothing. You said, Brown Do Life, we are the children of God. God is the true alpha. Us humans are not. Exactly. Facts. Facts. You know, and that's my thing. You know, some people talk about, you know, everybody got these certain titles, you know, about things. Now, whether they want to be kings or lords or whatever, In scripture, it says he's the King of all kings and the Lord of all lords. Notice it said nothing about him being the knight of all knights, because I believe in many ways the creator is a knight in his own way. And he believed in this idea of a twilight that I spoke about at this channel, but only in this sense of you got to create that twilight for yourself. How did the creator do that? He said, let there be light. Threw that at you. Okay. But yeah, my thing is this, y'all. All this telling and selling of the game, allegedly. A lot of what you see out here is a false representation of what that person really is about. Y'all see that, it's self-explanatory, right? For example, a lot of the no-fap guys, and I get it, I'm not against guys that practice no-fap. I prefer low-fap, not no-fap, just low-fap. Just be moderate. Do everything in moderation, okay? There's benefits to fapping. There's no scientific proof that it's going to make you blind. There's no scientific proof that it's going to give you erectile dysfunction. There's no proof of it, okay? There's only slight proof about pornography, okay? Depending on how you, I guess, have that in your life. What they say about that is that pornography can somewhat desensitize your reality of how to be intimate with the feminine gender. That's the only thing. And I can see that. But see, I think it's already happened because of just the music alone. You got what they call what? Word porn. You got word porn. You got things that they talk about in hip hop. And this is kind of like, and not just hip hop, but in other things too, other forms of media. But about, I guess, the way you should be in the bedroom with somebody. So what do people do? That's what they expect you to do. I mean, now you got this whole idea about eating booty. So guess what? Now everybody like, well, that's cool. Hey, if you're gonna be with me, you got to eat booty. You know what I'm saying? So you got all that going on. So y'all see how that kind of goes. So pornography in many ways can be the same way. Like I said, it depends on your intake and what you intake in regards to porn and word porn. Just food for thought, y'all. But you got this dream that you got these guys that claim to be no fap and semen retention. They tell you how they've had like 50 to 100 days of no fap and semen retention and all this. And they've been able to grow more hair on their face. They've gotten stronger and they've gotten smarter. You know what I'm saying? And ironically, they say even with just moderate fapping, it actually increases your intelligence. It increases your level of REM sleep. And, in a lot of scripture, well, they say in the Bible, there's really no scripture that actually speaks out against fapping alone. It's all about the way you do things, even with that idea of fapping. And I think that's really kind of what scripture is all about. People take scripture out of context. It's not that a certain thing is wrong. It's the way you do that certain thing that can determine if you shouldn't be doing that, or the opposite of, there ain't even nothing wrong with what you're doing. You just doing it in moderation. You see what I'm saying? Brown Dude Life said, it's the porn to get away from. Fapping without porn is the right way to go. I agree. Overall, that is a very sound that's a very sound statement of Brown Dude Life that you gave. Very sound statement. I agree. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, keep it moving. Me personally here at this channel, going back to that, I just only merchandise for my fans, if anything. Like, and that's not really to sell merch. I'm just more likely to give it away, for the most part. Oh, we got the wrench. Let me figure that out. Glad you brought that up, Venom. Yeah, boy, I tell you about that technology. Let me go ahead. I'm glad you brought that up, Venom. Let me make sure that's there for him as well. You see that? Bam, there. Got Brown Dude Life back. Yeah, we got you back, Brown Dude Life. Okay. Yeah, we got you back. We got you back. Oh, it looks like I already got a dislike. Okay, probably from that troll. I see I got a dislike already, y'all. I'm on my other device having to make it happen because it's just crazy with all these different devices, man. Man, a lot of technology is a scheme too, though. For every cure, there's a sickness. For every sickness, there's a cure. Now, just think about the fact that, when these computers first came out, right? Uh, they were good. But then all of a sudden, like, where did all these viruses come from? Well, that's because they put viruses, they made up viruses. They created viruses. Did y'all think about that? And then, like, a lot of these sicknesses, even HIV, a lot of it. Hey, what's good, Adrian? Good to see you back up in the building, fam. You know what I'm saying? Hey, like you probably already got an idea, but like just low key, like, I bet some people thinking that this live stream is talking about them, but this live stream ain't got nothing to do with them, but they'll still assume it has something to do with them. And I just had a troll in here earlier. It could have very well been that individual. You see what I'm saying? But I had to go through a lot of crazy stuff just because the technology, man. I don't know, it kind of got Brown Do Life up in the mix. I had to get him back on board though. But yeah, we had to get rid of that person earlier. But yeah, man, good to see you back up in the building, Adrian, for sure. But yeah, continuing on. Let's kind of continue on with this, right? Because I have a lot to talk about. We almost done here. It's just crazy when you think about how deep the rabbit hole goes with the schemers. It goes real deep. It really does. But yeah, I give out recipe. I don't give out game. I give out the recipe. Something that's going to edify your soul. Games are not going to edify your soul. They'll kind of simulate your visuals. But last time I checked, what you eat, it takes care of your visuals. It takes care of your neurologicals, your neurals. You know what I'm saying? It takes care of everything, your emotional, whatever you eat versus just a game you play. I give out recipes. I don't give out game. Okay. And even with game, they call it free game. No game is really free, man. Hey, there's a charge for that. Somewhere there's a charge. You got to charge it to the game if you have someone give you free game. You see what I'm saying? But nobody want to talk about that now, dude. Round of Life said, that's right. Fauci pretty much made sex a risky act because of the viruses he created. Facts. Yeah. And even the food, it goes back to even the food. So there you go, man. Me trying to give y'all recipes instead of game. Like, we trying to put the right food in our bodies, man. A lot of this food is killing us, man. A lot of this food has what? Been gamed up. That's another topic altogether, actually. The grid of a lot of way these GMOs are made, a lot of the way they even organize all different chickens and things like that. And yes, for all you vegan folk, the same thing happens with vegetables and fruits too. How many mutant watermelons have you had lately? How many mutant oranges and red peppers and green peppers have you had lately? I bet a lot of people didn't know that there is a male pepper and a female pepper. Every plant has a male and a female, just like animals have males and females. But people don't talk about this stuff, right? Venom, you said reality over fantasy. Exactly. And then Brown Do Life, you said, what's up with Manosphere guys talking about gaming your wife? Man, they lost in the sauce, man. You know what? That's kind of how they gonna have to talk, in the game, like with the way they do stuff, man. Because it's like, I don't even know what they even talking about, to be honest with you, because I don't be even paying attention to what they be saying. But it already sounds very cool. It already sounds cool. And I just try my best. Like if I have people come to my channel and do collaborations with me, like you can't be about that game talk over here. I'm not dissing what you're talking about, but we don't do game over here. We don't need game. But we not bashing game. We just don't need that. We live a different life. If you really supposed to be, I guess, red pill, right? Outside the matrix thinking, then why are you still thinking like you in the matrix? Even when Neo went back into the matrix with the red pill, he went to shut the game down. He wasn't trying to play the game when he went back into the matrix. He was trying to shut it down. Okay. But they ain't doing that. They want to like, okay, the matrix of the gynocracy. Okay. You want to go back in there. and game your wife, but your wife already knows the game. How you gonna game her? You know what I'm saying? Uh, you said, Adrian, Reality XM, what's the best way to handle haters? Yeah, man, you just gotta ignore them, man. That's the best way. It's to ignore them and to take a sip. You feel me? Take a sip. Get some haterade, or as I said earlier, some hate 2.0. You know what I'm saying? Some haterade or some hate 2.0. You know, because the haters always trying to put you in a drought, but they'll try to make it seem like you're thirsty. But really, no, they just trying to put you in a drought. They jealous. They jealous of the fact that you prosperous, you dripping, you got the drip, but they trying to make you have a drought. So you sip the haterade or the hate 2.0 so you can keep that drip coming in, you dig? And you get showered with blessings. You know, you keep being righteous, you get showered with blessings. You get more drip. What the word says, the creator said, I'll pour ye out a blessing that you don't even have enough room to receive. Pour. He pouring the drip down on you, pouring the drip of blessings down on you. Come on now. You said venom. The only thing that causes erectile dysfunction is an unattractive woman. Facts. That's it. And that's a lot of doctors have clarified that. They have clarified that. That's why I remember like those I've ran into a chick before and she was like, are you not into me? Are you not intimate? And it's like it's not that I'm not intimate or that I'm not functioning. Like I'm just not interested. It's not that I'm not intimate. I'm not interested. Like I'm just not feeling this situation. Like, and that's really it. You know what I'm saying? It's really it. That's the erectile dysfunction. Is really more or less. It should be redefined as uh, an emotional dysfunction that affects the erectile. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's good, Top? I see you in the building. Good to see you back up in here, man. Much blessings. Yeah, man. Always good to see you come up in the building, man. Shout out to Top. Doing a good job at your channel, man. Keep coming with the positivity, especially about the crypto. Hey, I said earlier how with Charles Ponzi, he actually you know when the stock market crashed, what he did was he was trying to get investors to he did this little fraudulent thing of how to invest in foreign stamp coupons, if you will, so that that can be exchanged over and yield more profit based on American U.S. stamps, because that was like the U.S. stamps at one point became the currency when the dollar fell during the stock market crash of 1929. But it was a big old scheme, and I think Ponzi got away with taking millions from people. You know what I'm saying? And of course, now fast forward, you think of Bernie Madoff. He's like the mastermind behind the modern version of Ponzi scheme. You know, but yeah, I say that to say that you know back in those days, those U.S. postage stamps in the 20s, they were like, I think the first version of cryptocurrency before we knew what it was, because basically you had to have other ways of cash or hard currency, if you will. You got soft currency, which is software, but cryptocurrency kind of falls in line of hard and soft currency. I don't know, because I know they used to have the actual crypto coins. That was like the hard currency, the other alternative to the dollar bill. But then also crypto is kind of a soft currency because of the software. And hopefully I got my terminology right, Top. But like, you know, it's you can see it move. You don't have to touch it, but you can see it move because you can invest in it from your accounts. You know what I'm saying? You said Venom. I experienced lots of women trying to shame me for choosing to be a monk. It blows the mind that they are not enticing or attractive enough for me. Even I'm not a celibate monk always, LOL. Facts. And yeah, they don't understand like true attraction, you know? It doesn't come from just her having a certain body type, whether she has nice breast or butt or hips and she can twerk it like nobody else's business. We know a lot of that is witchcraft for the most part. It ain't about really pleasing the man, it's just about seducing him. But you know, guys get past that. Most guys, I believe, are getting stronger spiritually. And they're like, no, that ain't enough to get me off, baby. What about your emotions? You know what I'm saying? And you said Brown do life. Erectile ED comes heavy from porn as well. Yeah, that's facts because you're more stimulated by porn instead of by actual intimacy from the feminine gender. Like she can't get you off because you just better off getting off by just watching porn for a couple of minutes. And then let's say you do get up and you get with her. Well, you're so used to getting off to porn after a few minutes, you're gonna get with her and you're gonna get off after a few seconds of being around her. Because you know that's just how it is when you normally watch porn, you watch it, boom, boom, do your thing, and you out. And you're gonna do that to her. And she been waiting to do something with you, and you done. But that's where intimacy comes into play, y'all. That's where that intimacy comes from, especially if she's older. The older she gets, the more intimacy. Yeah, the older she gets, the more intimacy she requires. Now, the flip side of that, because you know what I'm about to say, based on that, it's not a blue pill statement. Now, what I mean by like the intimacy she requires, no, it's more or less like to get her a certain way to please you a certain way, like you know to get the teapot hot, so the tea can be right when you start to sip on it. Like you know, the more you have her know that you actually like her around and all that stuff, then that's just going to turn her on more because you're like, you know, you're getting her to feel a certain way about you. You see what I'm saying? So uh, basically, if it wasn't for that, that's why a lot of guys prefer sex robots because you can program a sex robot to be a certain way versus you trying to get her to feel a certain way. But we're not talking about sex robots tonight, y'all. Yeah. You said Venom. One even said that I'm not a monk because I don't wear orange robes. LOL. Yeah, they don't get it. They don't get it, man. They don't get it, man. They don't get it, man. But yeah, kind of going back to the aspect of scheming with the no fap and the semen retention guys. Not all, just some. You know, a lot of those guys relapse. You know, some of those guys, they ain't really about what they say and they just selling guys a dream. Uh, Especially if, let's say, they're trying to teach you the steps of not watching porn no more. Well, yeah, for all you know, after every session of them telling you about how not to watch porn, they are watching it all the time. They're relapsing every second. They telling you not to relapse. How about just being transparent by saying how much you've relapsed, and this is why you shouldn't relapse like me. Kind of like no different than when you see someone that's been a chronic smoker, and no pun intended against smokers, okay? I'm not bashing smokers. I'm just saying a chronic smoker, someone that smoked to the point of where they no longer have a voice box and things like that. You're gonna definitely learn from like someone like that. Like, yo, I don't want to end up like that. So I'm kind of referring that to porn, depending on the exposure one has to that. You feel me? So I'm kind of going there in that way. But yeah, my thing is, like I said, I don't give out game. I give out recipes, and I only serve entrees. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I only serve entrees. I don't sell entrees. I serve them. You feel me? I don't want people to say, I don't want people to pay. I don't want people to pay. You know what I'm saying? Actually, yeah, I don't want people to pay for something I'm selling. You know, if I'm giving out these recipes and not game, like I want people to pay for a service, not a sale, if you will. Like I want you to like kind of like y'all see the dudes on the corners and they be playing the guitars and stuff like that, right? And they be just talented. They be doing all these backflips downtown, Times Square, New York. You know what I'm saying? Downtown Chicago off Michigan Avenue. You like, yo, let me give him like a couple of dollars. He really like, yo, that was mind blowing what you just did. So that's kind of like the way I try to be with my content. Like I'm not out here doing this to make money off anybody. I'm not here to scheme nobody. That's why I always say, like, I put my little links, cash apps, PayPals. You know, I don't expect any money. But if somebody wanted to, like, you know, hey, do you have a pot? Boom, I'll hook you up. Like, just because I like your content. No expectation, no obligation, just appreciation, which I said every time. Okay. Because I don't expect it. You feel me? Like, when you are a certain person, like you see billionaires do this all the time. They don't do this for the money, even though they got money. Some people say, well, that's because they got money. What makes you think that a billionaire doesn't want more money? Billionaires always want more money, okay? But there are certain ways they're trying to reach people that they feel like it's not necessary for all that other stuff. Like, I just want you to appreciate what I'm saying to you versus you actually giving me money at that time. Okay. Uh you said Adrian, you said Reality XM, why are some YouTubers living fake lives on YouTube, but in real life they something else? I don't get it, man. You know, some people life is only on YouTube. You feel me? That's a scheme in itself. Because especially if you try to say like other people have to find something to do with their life off YouTube, um, that's really like a blanket statement. Because people do like YouTube, but ironically, that same person has no life off outside of YouTube. You know what I'm saying? You know, like so for some people, this is their social life. You feel me? But yeah, you got fake ones out there, like Adrian said, these fake these YouTubers, you know, living fake lives. That scheme, that finesse ain't really about what they say. They talk a good talk though. They've read from a good book. Okay, you got to be a good actor. This is not who you are. Okay, Venom, you said lack of attraction for mediocre offers. Facts. That's a scheme right there. Very good finesse. Very good finesse. Oh yeah, very good finesse. You got less is more. Less is more in order to avoid the finesse. You know what I'm saying? Especially for her to, you know, not make you feel like, you know, she got you feeling some type of way emotionally because she got away with being a certain way towards you and with you. Like I said, you just gotta if you out there and you're not really a monk, but you're more of like the Black Knight type, basically the quintessential gentleman, you just gotta be a ladies' man. That don't mean you're a player. You know, getting back to that game talk. You can be a ladies' man and not be a player. Those are two different things. A gentleman, he's going to have ladies that know him, and they know that, but they're still attracted to you. You know what I'm saying? It's just, hey, you don't have to be around. If you don't like the fact that other women know me, you don't have to talk to me. Okay? But that's just me. That's just my vibe. That's my aura. And besides, they like the fact that I'm honest. That's what makes me not a player. Okay? So you got to play the game. You got to be a little deceptive. You got to be a little bit finesse. Okay. You got to be a little nimble. Okay. So when you move a certain way, unlike that, you don't have to learn all the finesse and learn all the deception talk and all that. You just be upfront. And you know, they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't, you know, but that doesn't change the way your magnetic personality is, or as I like to say over here, uh, you have a magnetic personality. Okay. But with all that even said, y'all, like I said, I want people to pay for my service, uh, not a sale. I'm not trying to sell y'all anything. I'm just trying to serve y'all. I'm here to serve. You feel me? And I'm here to serve y'all just good word and my testimony. And if you like it, you know, feel free to look out for me. But it's not an expectation. You know what I'm saying? I want people to look out for me out of love. And that's in many different ways, not just money. You feel me? Like I said, this ain't no sale here. It's no scheming here. Okay. Uh, but yeah, that means I'm not for sale. I'm for hire. Okay. If I'm here as a service and not as a sale, that means I'm for hire. I'm not for sale. You see? But let's think about this. A few more final things I want to talk about. Uh, the rise of dating trainers. Now, y'all got dating coaches out there. This is definitely part of the scheme out there. I believe that there's going to be a rise of dating trainers. I mean, no different than the game, right? You got to have a trainer. You got the coach, but then you also got to have a trainer, someone that's really with you, hands on. I mean, the coaches, He's gonna teach you the fundamentals of the game, right? Gonna tell you how to get through all that. But see, the trainer, he gonna help you be prepared for it. He gonna help you be fit for it. He gonna help you get right, be well calibrated, be geared up. You know, back in the day, they used to say you gotta be G'd up. You know what I'm saying? Of course, that has some gang influence to it as well, but we ain't talking about that. The G'd up, GD up. We're not talking about GD, okay? But we're just saying G'd up usually means geared up. Now, they would say geared up as far as like the way you look. But see, no, that's still part of the game because the way you look is based on how you had to prepare yourself. Okay. And that's no different than an athlete. The way you look is based on like how you had to prepare yourself. They getting on they getting on what? Zion Williamson right now because he's almost at 300 pounds on the basketball floor for the New Orleans Pelicans. I mean, he always had like a lot of weight on him. He like, I think almost like the same height as Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, he weighs way more than LeBron. They think LeBron a powerhouse because he's 6'8" and he around 260. He's a little less now. He's more lightweight. I think he's now down to 250 at 6'8". You know, he wanted to lose some weight so he don't get hurt that much as he gets older. But there was a point LeBron was at 280 though. But see, factor that in with Zion Williamson. He's, I think, just a little taller than LeBron James. And he's right now at about 300 pounds. You see what I'm saying? They don't feel he was geared up right. He needs better training. Okay. So guess what? You're going to have these dating trainers too, I believe. Get you right for the game. You're not geared up right. We're going to show you how to be geared up. Watch out for the guys trying to show you how to be more geared up or more prepared. You know what I'm saying? Like the dating coaches, he's just teaching you fundamentals. But the trainer, he's trying to get you more prepared, more geared. Okay. Not just with clothes, but with the beard. Or the lack of beard. I don't know. You know, something about the appearance, the way these 304s want you to look, depending on the region, right? You might like chicks that like dudes in suits in one place because they want that high value man so bad, or they want you to, you know, they want you to still look like the dudes from the late 2000s, man. Chicks still like dudes that look like they from the trap house. That'll never go out of style. Even though they got dudes wearing tight jeans too, that's now coming up. Dudes with the tight jeans. It's still a white tee, but it's a tight tee. But you still got dudes that wear loose clothes, you know, with the long tees. Chicks still into that because you got a lot of dudes that come out of jail and they just need the right clothes. They don't want to be looking like they looked when they were in jail with their pants down. You know, they'll wear some larger clothes that ain't too tight, making them look like they look sweet. You know what I'm saying? So that's another story altogether. So, but you got guys that try to get you more geared up to be more prepared. I believe there's going to be more of a rise of that. So it's kind of going to be hard to tell who's the real gentleman from who's the dating trainer trying to get someone right for the game. You know, because you know, I think like a quintessential gentleman, he comes in different forms. He doesn't necessarily need to wear a suit, but it's the way he carries himself. It's, you know, it could be his appearance, like as far as he ain't gonna be the cleanest looking guy. I mean, he ain't gonna be dirty, but he ain't gonna be like uh a knight in shining armor type of look. You know, he's just a guy out here trying to work like everybody else in some ways, you know, very modest, very unassuming. He gonna have a 2 o'clock shadow at times, you know. He might look like he from the Caribbean. You know, he might look like he a dude from Scotland that, you know, he's just a little rough beard, but you know, he good. You feel me? He good. Right? Venom, you said donations are welcome, but not demanded. Facts. That's what we do over here, man. That's what this channel is all about. You know what I'm saying? I care more about y'all spending time over here, but even that spending, not that I even ask y'all to even spend time with me here, but y'all coming here and y'all liking my content, that makes me want to put out more. That makes me want to serve y'all more because y'all like what I've been serving. You feel me? Like I'm just humbled by that. You feel me? But I believe dating trainers last but not least, will take the place of dating coaches. They'll take this idea of finesse to a whole, I believe they'll take this idea of finesse to a whole other level. And what we thought was a pyramid scheme or a Ponzi scheme, man, you ain't gonna know what's gonna happen. Like they're gonna have, they even got like courses now on how to get the chick, you know what I'm saying? How to get her to fall for you in 5 days. You feel me? They're gonna have these books, man. They're gonna have these books on just how to propose to her right. And you got chicks doing the same thing. They trying to appeal more to the guys. You know, like this is if you want to really get her laid, watch this video. I'm telling y'all, man. Adrian, you said Ray, you're street smart with a good heart, no cap. Hey, I appreciate that, fam. I appreciate that a lot, man. You know what I'm saying? Coming from where I'm from in St. Louis taught me a lot, man. And everybody got their story. You know, I've seen a lot, man. And I've had to really have my wits about. You feel me? And that's not even having a finesse. I've never had a finesse. You feel me? But yeah, I appreciate that, Adrian. Yeah, man. I appreciate that a lot. Uh, but yeah, they're gonna take this idea of finesse to another level. But yeah, y'all know about the statement like with these schemes, like the get rich quick scheme. Well, you know what? With dating, they need to make it the get laid quick scheme. It's either the get rich quick or the get laid quick scheme, you know? But it's all based on everything I just told y'all about with all this scheming that's going on. It's all fraudulent in many different ways. If it's not helping guys to be better and to be around women better and to treat them better, it's just fraudulent. Or if there isn't better results, let's just say, let's not even just talk about being better around people or treating women better, right? If there's no results, if there's no better results, like of what this person is telling me to do in regards to kind of connive, whatever I got to do, that's fraudulent. You know, like I wanted you to tell me, like, I thought what you was telling me was gold. It was going to help me. So you got guys that even do content talking about themselves, how they've done it, who they are. Nobody wants to hear about how you did stuff. People want to hear mostly how did you get to where you are today. They don't want to hear about like how you just good at, you know, like who you are. That's what I love about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan didn't really want people to be another Michael Jordan. He just wanted you to know how he became Michael Jordan. That he ain't really like who people try to make him out to be. Like he really went through some stuff. And he knew that there ain't really no other Michael Jordan. But like the only person that comes close was probably Kobe Bryant, but still only comes close. Kobe Bryant still doesn't have a similar story to Michael Jordan. Kobe doesn't have the same background as Michael Jordan. Okay. So like when you out here, you don't want to be so big on talking about how you want people to be like you and how everybody should be like you. Because nobody want to hear about how to be like you. They want to hear how you got through. You know, that's what helps people. That's what inspires people. They see that as more transparent. There's no finesse behind that. Because when it's all said and done, you can learn how to be like a person. But then when you start to really see through the person, you start to realize they never been through anything. And they never really had a life like they said they do. Their life has only been based on videos that they look at on YouTube or books they read, but they don't really live this kind of life that they talk about. These schemers, okay? These schemers are good dreamers, by the way. They're very good dreamers. You know, and I'd say this. Drake made a line one time. If you want to talk about scheming, this is not against Drake, but he just made it clear right in everybody's face. He said something on the lines on the Pound Cake song with Jay-Z, how he ended up everything that he was rapping about. Not that he ever was everything that he rapped about. Like he really didn't come from that life, but everything that he said that he wanted to represent him, he made that happen, you know, in a lot of different ways of finesse. So that's what Drake talked about. Really, that's, you know, that's kind of where he was going with that, and that's kind of like what I see with a lot of people. A lot of people got a lot of quasi questionable backgrounds, but nevertheless, you see them sitting at the same table, but you start to over time find out how they got there, and chances are they stepped on a lot of people and finessed a lot of people just to get to the top. That's why you got some people that are at the top. They don't respect a lot of people who win the lottery because they didn't put in the work to get the same kind of wealth, or at least when they got the wealth from the lottery, they're not doing anything with it. So you can see the ball fumble from people one way or another. Either they didn't work to get what they got, or if they ended up getting what they got, they're not working it because they were never really about that life. So I think that's kind of what I wanted to wrap up with this beware of schemers. They're not really about that life. And they're definitely not about your life. Hopefully this live made sense to some. Maybe this live did not make sense to others, especially the trolls and those that give a dislike. But to those that this live stream made sense to, make sure that you hit that like button, especially those listening to this on the replay. If this is your first time coming to this channel and you like my uploads as well as my live streams, just know that there's more in store. Definitely more in store. I'm on a resurgence, but I'm doing an evolution. I was never down. I've always been putting out content, but I've been evolving. I've been growing. So I'm just trying to get back to kind of the way things were before I got involved with certain content creators, and before I got involved with this with certain organizations we had together. I'm trying to get back to a certain place where I give y'all my my true grassroots type of way with my content, and I believe that I'm getting back there as we speak. But nevertheless, I've always been putting out content, uploads and live streams. So hey, either way, you're gonna get my authenticity, no matter what I've had come my way. So make sure that you subscribe, share this live, as well as my other content, including my archives, which I'll never keep private. I'll always keep public, no matter how much I grow as a channel. You know, you got a lot of people that end up putting their stuff on private as they grow more as a channel. I'll never put my playlist on private. Never. You know what I'm saying? Adrian, you said, Ray, don't focus on the numbers. YouTube's not a game. Just make videos that reach the people you've been doing, like you've been doing. I appreciate that. Yes, yes. Excuse me. Yes, I'll definitely keep that in mind, Adrian. You're right on point. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I've never been wanting to focus on the numbers, like, and even now, and to be honest, and I'm glad you brought that up, Adrian, because I know I'm on the brink of 500 subscribers, and now they're making it to where at least I have some access more and have more reach, like the people that end up getting 1,000 subscribers. And so it's easy to start to think about numbers then. But I guess with me, I'm thinking more about the quality versus the quantity. But even as you said, Adrian, don't focus on none of that stuff. Just keep putting out what you put out. Don't even think about it. So I appreciate you saying that, Adrian, for sure. But yeah, there's definitely more in store. And for those listening to this on the replay, you'll see my links in the description section. I used to have more things in the link, but some things are under construction. But nevertheless, you'll see other platforms that I'm on that you can follow. I used to put out my email, but you can reach me on IG. I'm on IG. You can reach me there. So I have that within the description section for those listening to this on the replay. Make sure that y'all hit that notification bell so that y'all get all of my uploads and live streams in real time. Okay. And no matter what it's been looking like out there, y'all, all I could tell y'all is that it just continues to get better from here. You know, and we just gonna be unbiased. We just know that there's a lot going on with a lot of this a lot of these shots that are out there. You know, there's been concerns about that. We got everything that's going on with Kyrie Irving. He's thinking that there's some scheme out here. Like, he's not speaking out against things, but he's not really saying he's for it. He's kind of in the middle. I get that. He's just being different. You know, he believes that everybody should have a choice of what they decide to do or what they don't decide to do. I get that. That should be equal in that regard. And there's nothing wrong with that. It gets rid of all the schemes, because you can't make people do one thing, but then it ends up being something else. That's a scheme. You see what I'm saying? So I get why. I guess the word that I'm looking for in regards to Kyrie Irving, he's just trying to be as neutral as possible. Yes, neutrality. And I guess, yeah, that'll take away all this idea of the schemes as well. You know, when you even got people that are more biased about something, well, there's a chance they could be scheming in some area. But when you're more unbiased, you're more indifferent about a lot of things, you tend to become more transparent. You tend to not be so white, and you tend to not be so black. You know what I'm saying? You right in the middle. You right in that gray area, as King Ref talked about. Shout out to King Ref. But that's what you tend to do. You tend to, you know, it just takes away all the schemes because you're more transparent. But yeah, y'all have a good one. And I'm definitely going to be back here very soon. And I mean, within a couple of days soon. Some of y'all probably see that I got some live streams lined up, given the day of this live stream. I got some lined up in a couple of days already. So yeah, I'm coming back full effect, even more uploads on the way. Y'all share my content, man. Put the word out there. Let them know. We growing over here. Rayology XM. And thanks a million, y'all, for stopping by the show. Until next time. Hey, you stay up as well, Adrian. Peace to you as well. Peace to everybody that showed up in the chat. Venom, Adrian, Brown Do Life, Top, the Top Cast, he showed up. Who else showed up in oh yeah, Texie. Texie showed up. First time. Glad you here. Glad you showed up as well, fam. Even the troll. He showed up. Glad you showed up too, troll. Yeah, we happy for that. You know, sometimes it's good to have a prime example of what a schemer looks like when you get a distraction take place. But we set it right on course, and we good again. Shout out to Michael for showing up. And of course, last but not least, Cool Gen 87. You know what I'm saying? Glad he showed up, and I'm glad for all those checking this out on the replay, for taking out the time to check out the replay. But this live stream definitely went longer than it went longer than I expected, but hey, it's definitely worth it if you checked it out or check it out in pieces. But yeah, y'all take it easy, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Much love.